Hey guys, Amigov here for a quicker message than last time. That was 40 seconds. Anyway, there should be two links on the screen right now saying to subscribe to like two different channels. One is my personal channel, one is the group channel I'm part of called The Voltscast. Please subscribe to both of them, and this is 20 seconds. Let's get on with the video. The JRPG genre. It's probably my favorite of them all. But what is a JRPG? A JRPG is an RPG that's developed in Japan. Who would have guessed? And normally, RPGs are based upon gameplay and story. This makes it pretty difficult to make an RPG if you're developing one. Unless you're Square Enix, because these games. So I've decided to make a list on the yes, characters in JRPGs. So this video is my top 5 characters in JRPGs. I'm just gonna have a quick rundown of the rules. Unlike last time, it was like 3 minutes long or something. The rules are 1 character per game, not per franchise, and it's my opinion. I don't even know why that's a rule. Oh, and the character has to originate from a JRPG.
Now it's short time!
Have you ever been curious of what franchise I played first? Of course not, but I'll tell you anyway. No wonder I'm such a big JRPG fan. Freaking Pokemon was my first franchise I ever played. But of all the Pokemon in this universe, which could be my favorite? Well, I'm sorry to say, but it's not a Pokemon that's my favorite. Stephen Stone, the person who studies the subject in science that I did the worst in, rocks. But that's what makes him so interesting, and to have so much potential for the next Pokemon games, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. To be honest, this is more of a nostalgia thing that gets him on this list. Pokemon Emerald was the first Pokemon game I ever played. That's a lie. Let me rephrase that. Pokemon Emerald was the first Pokemon game I actually enjoyed. Probably because I knew what I was doing. So, to put it this way, when I found out that Steven was a boss which was able to be fought, I was really excited. But I really can't say much about Steven. He's really only on this list for nostalgia.
Now it's short time!
Now, quickly, I want to share a theory I have to you. It's about Square Enix. You know, the company that makes all the Final Fantasy games and Kingdom Hearts and Bravely Default, that company. Now, I think Square stated that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be the last game in the franchise. I'm not quite sure about that, but I think I've heard that somewhere in another YouTube video. Now, as you guys know, Final Fantasy is becoming more of a hack and slash style of JRPG ever since Final Fantasy 13. So my theory is that Final Fantasy is going to become like Kingdom Hearts since it's going to be discontinued. So, to take Final Fantasy's place as the old turn-based RPG, they had to make a new franchise, which in this case is Bravely Default, or Bravely Second, or the Bravely Whatever series. But that's just a theory. A square theory. I'm such a nerd. I guess you could call me the official nerd squared. God, that was horrible. Anyway, when it came to choosing between two characters in Kingdom Hearts, I was stuck between Riku and Roxas. Take a guess which one I chose. Roxas just has so much more intention than Riku. Heck, even the story pretty much tells us that Roxas has more intention than Riku by beating him in a fight. Wait, wasn't it Riku who won that fight? Anyway, I'm just gonna say that Roxas has so much hate that he's pretty much more interesting than his counterpart, the non-nobody of him, Sora. Like, to the point where it's just stupid. In Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, Roxas doesn't really have a clear goal. He kind of just goes with the flow, being friends with Xeon and...
The name's Axel. Got it memorized?
Exactly what he just said.
Got it memorized?
Anyway, in Kingdom Hearts 2, Roxas pretty much loses his memory and decides to be a normal kid on the summer holidays. Sounds like a very Disney thing, doesn't it? But really, the only reason he's, like, not higher on the list is when you actually get to playing as him, he doesn't play any different whatsoever. Yes, he may have different skills, but once you are able to change into Sora during Kingdom Hearts 2, the skills just get transferred over, so it really doesn't change a thing.
Now it's short time.
It's really upsetting that a character from my favorite game isn't number 1 on this list. But, what can I say? Characters never make up a story. Wait, I don't think that's right. Dunban, you never fail to entertain me. Whether it's how badass he is running with his left-handed sword, or how he just uses logic to the point where it's ruining traditions.
But am I right in saying that the rules of this ritual affect only Hyentia? And if some strange Homs happen to get involved, it wouldn't cause a problem? Or is there some rule that prohibits Homs from entering the tomb?
No, I suppose not.
He never ceases to amaze me. Dunban is one of the more backstory-heavy characters. Not that in story sense he's got a big backstory, but if you read between the lines in some of those extra scenes called heart-to-hearts, you can kind of tell he has a big backstory. But, not only that, but he's the first character you're able to play as during Xenoblade Chronicles. Why is that? Well, in the prologue of the game, you play as Dunban 1 year before the main events of Xenoblade Chronicles happen. That's already enough backstory to just get you entertained. Speaking of playable, he is probably one of my favorite characters to be actually playable in Xenoblade Chronicles. In-game, his gameplay is based a lot around him being agile with a high agility stat, which means he can just dodge pretty much every single attack as long as you're high enough level. I won't go too much into detail with his arts, but I will say the scene between Dunban and Ricky was so heartwarming.
Shulk looked everywhere for her.
Indeed. Shulk and Fiora, everyone knows they like each other.
Other than that, Dunban really doesn't play too much of a role near the end of the game.
Now it's Shulk time.
Does this ring a bell? Tis ring a bell. And yes, he has fought a fox, not a deer. That was just too punny. Anyway, all bad puns and jokes aside, Ring a Bell is one of the most interesting characters I've ever encountered in a video game. When you first encounter Ring a Bell, he's lost his memory, hence the name Ring a Bell. But Ring a Bell has a book called Dee's Journal. I hope there's no implication there. Anyway, Dee's journal holds not the past, but the future apparently. Wow, we obviously have time travel in this game. Maybe. You're still gonna get spoilers. Anyway, Ring a Bell isn't really that interesting in-game because it's a job system. You can switch the classes around in Bravely Default, so each character doesn't have a specific play style like most other Final Fantasy games. So this means pretty much every character can play the same, except for the base stat values, which can change and vary. But otherwise, we're just going to focus on the story of Ring a Bell. When Ring a Bell first meets Tiz and Agnes, they don't really get along well. Agnes just doesn't trust Ring a Bell whatsoever. Wait. Before you say anything, Edea gets the same treatment as Ring a Bell from Agnes as well. So after a while, the group warms up to both Ring a Bell and Edea. So for quite a while, Ring a Bell is normally just walking around with the group without any memories of his past, trying to make new memories, until something story relevant happens, where he sometimes regains memories. And I'm not going to spoil too much, even though I did say you would get spoilers, but just, you know what, let's just go on. Let's first get this out of the way. Ring a Bell is a giant pervert. He's in love with Edea, and that came out of nowhere. Okay, so here's your spoilers. Plot twist, Ring a Bell is actually Edea's close friend from a previous world, or a world before this one, or an alternate universe. Yes, that's right. Alternus Dim. I guess there's more puns with the names, because Alternus, alternate universe, maybe. So it turns out the world that Ring a Bell's from, Edea, Agnes, and Tiz died. So he was transported to the next world somehow, or by the Holy Pillar, and he lost his memories. Wait, so you're saying that Ring a Bell's diary, or the one that supposedly tells the future, which we're going to call the Future Diary, is actually Ring a Bell's, or Alternus Dim's, diary from the previous world, where they encounter another one in the new world, which recounts the events that... You know what? Let's just get to number one.
Now it's short time. This is the Monado's power!
Oh, right, I forgot to mention a rule. Doesn't matter. It's basically has to be a character originally from a JRPG. So, created from a JRPG. So, you'll probably understand why I mentioned this right now. Okay, I get the feeling that a certain animal guy is rubbing off on me. But at number 1 is Fawful. Now, I've never been the biggest fan of the Mario and Luigi RPGs, but I do get enjoyment out of them. But the most enjoyment I've got out of any one character for the game is Fawful. I'm pretty sure you've heard this plenty of times, but one of the main reasons Fawful's the most, entertaining character I've found in a JRPG is probably because of those one-liners, such as, I have chortles, or ever so popular, I have fury. Firstly, let me clear up a few things that you already know. The Mario and Luigi RPG series aren't necessarily the normal princess gets kidnapped, Mario goes save princess. It's more along the lines of the princess's voice gets taken, or Mario and Luigi are transported back in time. So considering it's an RPG, it obviously has a more in-depth story than Mario save princess now. I just realized I'm talking a lot like Fawful. I don't think that's a good thing. You don't understand what I mean? Well, here's an example of how he talks. Now is when the talking stops. I am so sorry you had to experience that. Maybe that wasn't the best example. Oh, here's another. Just get on with the point. I mean, I know I shouldn't really be talking to myself. I mean, who talks to themselves? I mean, I haven't been doing that for the past 17 minutes or so. Anyway, it's kind of hard to explain how you like a character that's already been explained hundreds and hundreds of times on the internet. But, I'll try my best. Maybe. Anyway, I like Fawful so much because he's so freaking hilarious. One-liners, everything. To top that all off, in Superstar Saga, he was a side villain. But in one of the sequels, Bowser's Inside Story to be exact, he was upgraded to the main villain. At this point, it's almost impossible not to like him. And then there's this. Okay, I think we should just finish the video now. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to both the channels this will be posted to. One is the Voltscast, which is the group channel I'm part of, and one is my personal channel, MBGov1953. Links will both be in the description to the channels. You just gotta click that one subscribe button somewhere on the screen. But anyway, thanks for watching, and if you tuned in this long, you've got some bloopers to listen to. So, here you go. Oh my god. You're kidding me. There's a freaking phone at the perfect time as well. So most of the time, Ringabell's just walking around with these people he has no idea who they are, and pretty much being mindless, I guess you could mindlust. Yes! Mindlust, that's amazing. I came up with something amazing.